idea here is that when you do a clinical trial in epilepsy, one of the big questions is, does the thing work, and is the thing better than a placebo? So the assumptions that are baked into these trials that we've been doing for the past few decades are always relatively the same. And the assumptions are, a human has a seizure frequency, and that seizure frequency is not going to change unless you do something to them. So if I do something to them, like give them a pill, then their seizure frequency is going to get better, worse, or not change. And those assumptions, although they're not bad, they're not necessarily the whole story. What we know is that patients do go up and down in their seizure frequency over time. And so if we were to ignore that fact and just assume that they have one frequency and that's it all the time, give them a pill and they're going to get better, worse, or not change, then we miss the fact that we may be getting confused about the difference between a drug that works or a drug that accidentally seemed to have worked. So our study used a realistic simulation of what seizure diaries will look like based on actual data from patients that have informed a statistical model. And then we said there are some patients that are very, very variable and some that are very little bit, some that have a lot of seizures and some that have very few. And if we vary those two parameters, how variable they are and how frequent their seizures are, what is the impact of those kinds of different patients on clinical trials? Do trials make more mistakes or less mistakes, and by how much? And what can we do about these things? And so this is sort of the set of questions that we try to get into with that. So how does that relate to this psychogenic seizure thing? It's tangentially related in the sense that there too, with psychogenic seizures, we want to claim that something makes you better. And so we assume that you have a seizure frequency, even if it's like a psychogenic non-epileptic seizure, and that seizure frequency will go down because you have one number it's associated with you. And there too, it's not actually true. People go up and down. And so the trials that ask those kinds of questions, that ignore that variability, have the possibility of making a mistake of misclassifying treatments.